The sky is clear blue, dotted with floating white clouds. In the hospital, Qin Han and Liang Jinming stood behind. Jinming spoke up. "This is your sister-in-law, right? You are really lucky, brother." Lin Yi handed Qin Han several bags and said, "You came here today, you should know to bring something with you." Jinming looked at Lin Yi, standing in front of him, and asked, "Brother Lin, weren't you a cardiologist before? Moreover, your skills are quite good. Think of something, living a few more years is possible." Lin Yi shook his head and replied, "At this point, it's really helpless. With Mr. Cow's level, he must have found the best doctors in the world and used the best medications in the world. Therefore, I can do nothing about it." After saying that, the four of them walked to the elevator, pressed the button for the 18th floor. A voice resonated. "What's going on?" Qin Han looked at the floor indicator and exclaimed, "Isn't it broken? Try pressing other floors." Lin Yi tried pressing and said, "It could be that the elevator is having issues." Qin Han replied, "The 17th floor works." Hearing that, Lin Yi continued, "Then let's go to the 17th floor." After pressing the button for the 17th floor, the four of them stepped out of the elevator. Upon arriving, they discovered that the stairs were locked by a metal door. Qin Han picked up the lock, looked at it, and said, "The elevator can't go up, and the stairs are locked. Is the 18th floor restricted?" At that moment, Kyun Nian spoke up. "I read a horror novel before that talked about this. The 18th floor of every hospital has some secret that no one else knows." Lin Yi hugged Kyun Nian and said, "Don't say nonsense. Let's find someone to ask what's going on." Suddenly, a person walked over and spoke. "What are you guys doing, standing here?" The nurse pointed at them and continued, "The floor above is all family members of the leaders. Do you think you can get in?" Lin Yi replied, "If we're not allowed in, then we're not allowed in. Did you eat explosives, or are you going through menopause?" Kyun Nian gently patted Lin Yi's chest and said, "We want to visit a patient on the 18th floor. Why is it locked like this?" The nurse replied, "The 18th floor is a VIP level. Ordinary people can't enter. Without a hospital certificate, no one can go in." Kyun Nian took out her phone, a call was coming in, and then she said, "Can we call the family member and ask them to come down?" The nurse crossed her arms and coldly replied, "No, get out of here." At that moment, Liu ran over from a distance and called, "Xiaoli!" The nurse looked at the person in front of her, murmuring, "Director Liu." Liu replied, unable to contain herself, "What's with your attitude?" Liu shook hands with Lin Yi and said, "Director Lin, what a coincidence to meet you here." Lin Yi was surprised and asked, "Huh? You are?" Liu replied, "I am Director Liu of the Department of Orthopedics." Liu greeted warmly, "Director Lin," you answered, but were stopped outside. The nurse, standing at a distance, witnessing their conversation, was a bit surprised. Liu took his ID card and swiped it to access the elevator, saying, "I will swipe the elevator for everyone. Just go up." Qin Han suddenly frowned and questioned, "Isn't that against the rules?" Liu replied with a smile, "Rules are just rules." He gestured towards the elevator and announced, "You can go up now." Lin Yi responded, "Thank you." After that, the four of them entered the elevator together. As they were going up, the nurse turned to Liu and asked, "Director Liu, do you know that man over there?" He angrily replied, "Let me tell you, Director Lin used to be the director of the cardiology department at Huashan Hospital." This answer left the nurse extremely startled. Liu frowned again, pointing towards the elevator, and continued, "Today, even if the director met him again, he would have to be polite and call him Director Lin." The nurse felt a bit intimidated. Her face flushed as she hurriedly wiped the sweat from her forehead, stammering, "So impressive, really impressive?" Qin Han, following behind Lin Yi, continuously praised, "Mr. Lin is truly remarkable. This face is also useful in the hospital." After walking for a while, they arrived at room 1801. As soon as they reached the door, they heard a voice inviting them in. Inside was a middle-aged woman who greeted them warmly. "Why didn't you call ahead? Come in and sit down." Then she grabbed Chin-han's hand and asked, "How has work been for you lately? Are you busy?" Chin-han smiled and replied, "It's good, thank you." He pointed to Ji Kyun-nian and Lin Yi, introducing them. "Aunt Fan, let me introduce you. This is Lin Yi. Zhong Yuan must have mentioned him to you. And this is his girlfriend, the CEO of Chaoyang Corporation, Ji Kyun-nian." Her son also came over, waving and greeting. "Brother Chin, Brother Liang, Brother Lin, sister-in-law." Suddenly, the elderly woman lying in bed opened her eyes and coughed lightly. Cough, cough, cough. Seeing this, the middle-aged woman joyfully exclaimed, "Mom, you're awake!" She hurried to the bedside, cheerfully saying, "Mom, sit up and see. We have visitors for you." The elderly woman, lying in bed, glanced around at everyone and then smiled faintly, asking, "Oh, so many people have come to visit me. How lovely. Zhong Yuan when he was little." Just then, the clock on the wall struck past noon. The middle-aged woman suggested, "It's getting late. I'll call Zhong Yuan and we can all go out for lunch." Chin-han quickly waved his hand to decline. "It's not like outsiders are violating anything, so don't be so polite. My company has work to do, so I'll head back first. When we have time, we'll come again." The woman replied, "I'm so sorry. You all came and didn't even eat a meal." As they reached the door, Lin Yi waved goodbye to her before leaving. He didn't forget to remind her, "It's okay. Next time Mr. Cow invites us, Aunt can stay inside with the lady. No need to see us off." They entered the elevator, and it began to descend to the first floor. As soon as the elevator opened, someone called Lin Yi. He picked up the phone and asked, "Hello? Ding Xin, what's the matter?" On the other end, Tian Yan reported, "Mr. Lin, the stock of Long Sin has dropped by 5%, wait a bit longer, and it might hit the bottom." Lin Yi calmly replied, "Got it. Don't rush. No need to pay attention to this." He added, "You all just focus on your own work. Don't worry about this." Ding Xin responded, "Understood, Mr. Lin." Chin-han looked at Lin Yi curiously and asked, "What happened?" He sighed and explained, "Long Xin just went public, and someone behind the scenes is causing trouble. Yesterday the stock started to drop, and it still hasn't stopped." Chin-han not only wasn't worried, but he also smiled and replied, "Just after the stock was launched, it dropped. That's truly unique in Nation H. Can't you do something about it? Such a small matter shouldn't be a big deal for you, right?" Lin Yi, with a tense expression, responded, "I feel that the other party definitely has some ulterior motive. Perhaps at some point they will contact me. Therefore, I'm waiting." Liang Jinming expressed great admiration. "Lin Yi, you truly have ambition, but in 2 days you will have to compensate at least 200 billion. Lin Yi replied calmly, "It's a small matter. As long as I want, the stock will definitely rise again. I'll only take action when the person behind the scenes appears." Ji Kyun-nian firmly stated, "Aside from Taito, who else could do this?" Chin-han agreed, replying, "Definitely, Taito, they are quite formidable." He offered his opinion. "I feel that if we all unite, dealing with them shouldn't be a big problem." Ji Kyun-nian quickly intervened. "Everyone, don't rush." She continued to express her thoughts. "I believe that if we unite, dealing with them wouldn't be a big issue. But if you all intervene, that would mean offending a lot of businesses." Liang Jinming placed his hand on his chin, thinking for a moment. Finally, he agreed with Ji Kyun-nian's opinion. "Sister-in-law makes a lot of sense." Chin-han turned back and asked, "Do we really have to endure like this?" Lin Yi smiled and advised everyone, "So let's not rush. Take it slow. We will use a defensive counterattack strategy. After we understand the opponent's intentions, we will react accordingly." Chin-han waved his hand to say goodbye and replied, "All right, if you need any help, just let me know." Lin Yi had reached the car door and he waved back while reminding, "Take care out there." He pressed the accelerator of the car with his foot. After a while, the car was cruising steadily down the road. Suddenly, Lin Yi's phone rang loudly. Someone was calling. As soon as he answered, the voice on the other end said, Mr. Lin, I am Zhang Zhentuan. Recently it seems your company has gone public and is encountering quite a few troubles, right? With a sinister tone, he continued to ask, would you like to sit down and have a chat? Who knows, I might have a way to help you solve that problem. Lin Yi turned to Ji Kyun Nian and replied, why not? I'll meet you an hour later. Let's meet at the Yi Yun Tea House. Someone will be there to greet you. On the other end, Zhang Zhentuan responded, all right then. Ji Kyun Nian had already sensed Zhang Zhentuan's trickery. She turned and said, that's right, they're playing tricks. Otherwise, why would they call us at this time? Lin Yi asked, do you have anything else to do? Let's go together. She replied, you can drop me off in front. You go ahead with your work. A short while later, Lin Yi arrived at the Yi Yun Tea House. As soon as he reached the door, a server greeted him. Hello, Mr. Lin. Mr. Zhang has instructed us to wait here to take you upstairs. The female server pointed inside and continued. Mr. Lin, Mr. Zhang is waiting for you inside. Lin Yi smiled and lightly complimented, well organized. He slowly opened the door and stepped into the room. Once inside, a young man stood up and introduced himself. Mr. Lin, you are indeed punctual, not even a second late. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Zhang Zhentuan. The person next to me is Wachala. As he spoke, he gestured toward the man sipping tea beside him. Lin Yi, completely unsparing, raised his voice and shouted, you people really can't let go. I've told you already, and you're still not giving up. Wachala calmly stood up, poured a cup of tea, and replied, we're out of options. You have something we need. I know it's difficult to get you to cooperate with us, so I have another request. I hope you can consider it. Saying this, he gently placed the teacup back on the table. Lin Yi picked up the cup of tea and curiously asked, what request? Please speak. Wachala used persuasive language, trying to convince Lin Yi. I hope that Mr. Lin can share his research findings with us. Of course, this will be a transactional condition. You can propose any conditions you like, and we will agree as long as we can fulfill them. Lin Yi was surprised and asked back, research findings? Wachala nodded and replied, your top-notch traditional medicine, especially in the area of extracting pure substances from plants. You have very unique achievements in this field. Therefore, I hope you can share those achievements with us. Lin Yi slammed the cup of tea down on the table and then responded firmly, you are quite smart and know how to negotiate, but I'm not interested. He stood up, decisively answering. Wachala continued to inquire, are you really going to give up Longxin? As far as I know, Longxin is a very important part of your business empire. Lin Yi did not reply immediately, but turned and walked straight to the door. He called out, just because I haven't made a move in 2 days, do you really think I have no way to deal with this? I'm just waiting to see your joke. Don't forget, Longxin is going public. Do you think you can easily get rid of it? Zhang Zhentuan smiled and reminded Wachala, I feel like we should stop beating around the bush with him. It's time to use more decisive measures. Wachala glanced at Zhang Zhentuan, then asked, what is your method? Tell me, and we can cooperate. Zhang Zhentuan raised 2 fingers to deny, smiling faintly. No, no, no. Our revenge can only stop here. Don't make any further moves. Wachala was startled and asked again, what does that mean? Does that mean Taito is just going to let it go? This is not like your usual style at all. Zhang Zhentuan waved his hand and replied, what I mean is, if it's possible to teach him a lesson, then that would be best. If not, that's fine too. After all, we don't believe he can do anything at all. Our company still needs to stand in Nation TH. Gohana, with an unpleasant expression, said, I really didn't expect this. Here you are, Mr. Zhang, a young master of Taito, yet you have such small guts. Zhang Zhentuan shrugged, walked leisurely, and said nothing more, signaling the end of the conversation. Zhang Zhentuan waved goodbye and silently left. Wachala mumbled, they probably still don't know that Longxin's 2.0 technology is already extremely proficient. This also indicates that they have the potential to develop to 3.0 technology. This is a very significant threat. Suddenly, the door opened and a bald man wearing black glasses walked in. He was Zongjian, the security assistant of the corporation. As soon as he entered, he asked, "Boss, is there anything you want to instruct?" Wachala commanded, "You dispatch a group of people from the country to his house. The company will seek these things." He did not forget to point at Zongjian, reminding, "He cannot study those things alone. There must certainly be others cooperating. Every small detail must be thoroughly investigated." The next morning, at the Lang Yun building, a meeting was held among the heads of the company. Zhang Xiaoyu asked, "Brother Lin, do we have the live broadcast venue arranged for tomorrow night? Do we need to check the site?" Lin Yi, holding a cup of tea in his hand, replied, "Lin Li has already mentioned this to me. He said we should arrange it ourselves. At that time, they will send someone over to manage the process." Zhang Xiaoyu questioned, "So does that mean we find a place ourselves, or do we go to the dock and find a boat as the venue?" Lin Yi tapped his hand on the table and asked for her opinion. "Is the Peninsula Hotel a good option?" Zhang Xiaoyu smiled and responded, "The Peninsula Hotel is perfect. It has also been arranged for Tuesday at Nation TH. She pointed to her face, reminding him, "But the Peninsula Hotel is very popular. To book a spot there, you need to make a reservation in advance." Lin Yi smiled, picked up his phone to check, and then replied, "That's my property. No need for a reservation. I can arrange it." Hearing this, Zhang Xiaoyu was excited and cheered. She kept praising, "Besides the points deducted, I don't know what else to say." As night gradually fell over a large restaurant, still ablaze with lights in every room. In one room, a group of people was chatting joyfully. Li Weiqiang, holding a glass of red wine, curiously asked Mr. Guo, "How is that guy named Brother Mask's selling ability?" Guo Shibo immediately replied, "I don't know either. Since he started his live stream until now, it hasn't even been a month, so I don't know how it's going." The hot young girl with green hair sitting nearby confidently spoke up, "Everyone is worrying a bit too much. My goods are basically the cheapest. In terms of live selling, no one can offer a lower price than me. No one has an advantage over me." Li Weiqiang still expressed his concern, reminding, "I believe in your abilities, but we absolutely cannot underestimate him. Didn't you see the last live stream? His view count hit 10 million. That's an astounding figure." Guo Shibo also agreed with Li Weiqiang, saying, "Mr. Li is right. I heard that the live location is at the Peninsula Hotel, and the materials are also sourced by him personally. Perhaps he has spent quite a bit of money this time too." The girl with green hair lifted her glass of wine, took a sip, and appeared indifferent. Li Weiqiang picked up a cigarette and said, "This person seems to have no weaknesses. It's very difficult to exploit him." Guo Shibo smiled and replied, "You can't say that. He does have a little weakness. As long as we can take advantage of it, who knows, we might be able to pull him down." Li Weiqiang widened his eyes, sitting up in surprise and asking, "Do you have a way?" Guo Shibo then smugly answered, "Aren't you all curious about why he always wears a mask during his live streams?" At this moment, Li Weiqiang also understood and exclaimed, "I got it. This masked guy must be ugly, right?" Guo Shibo, with a sly expression, explained, "It won't be like that. Therefore, we can make posts about this aspect. After all, there are many female viewers watching the live stream, and they are all the type that values looks. If they discover that the seller is ugly, what do you think they will say?" The next morning, at the Peninsula Hotel, Zhang Xiaoyu hurriedly ran after Lin Yi. She anxiously called out, "Lin, it's not good." Lin Yi turned back and asked, "What happened?" She pointed at her phone and recounted, "There are a lot of videos on the short video apps saying you're ugly, portraying you as a fraud." Lin Yi couldn't help but spit out all the water in his mouth after hearing that. He asked, "What kind of crazy rumor is this?" Zhang Xiaoyu replied anxiously, "I also feel that way. We can't just stand still and wait for death. Otherwise, tomorrow's live stream won't require any sales at all. I want to post a picture of you to slap their faces. I can't hold back any longer." Seeing her demeanor, Lin Yi chuckled. He turned to tease her. I see you're not standing up for me, but rather doing it for the sake of slapping them in the face and making yourself feel better. Zhang Xiaoyu's eyes lit up, and she replied playfully, Don't say that. We've known each other for so long, there's bound to be some feelings, right? Lin Yi then patted her on the back, urging, All right, stop talking nonsense. Quickly arrange the activities. I haven't forgotten to remind you that we need to go live tonight. There's a bunch of work waiting for us today. As Zhang Xiaoyu walked away, she replied, Got it, Mr. Lin. Lin Yi started putting on a mask. Next, he took a pair of sunglasses and put them over his eyes. Just as he turned around, the manager standing behind called out, Mr. Lin! He was startled and turned back to ask, Even dressed like this, you still recognize me? The manager replied with a smile, Although you are wearing a mask and sunglasses, those things can't conceal your mature masculine aura. Lin Yi patted him on the shoulder, praising, From the first day I met you, I felt you had great potential. Indeed, I was not mistaken. The manager said to Lin Yi, Mr. Lin, it has been a long time since you visited the hotel. I will give some direction to my subordinates. Lin Yi slung an arm over his shoulder and replied, Skip the work direction, but I have a task I want to assign to you. Once they stepped into the room, Lin Yi began to express his request. I want to make a membership card. You can imagine it as a kind of identity proof. It should allow for skipping queues and appointments at certain places. It's the type that can summon rain and wind, you understand? The manager asked with a smile, Isn't that similar to a black card? Lin Yi immediately responded, Yes, yes, yes. Later I will send you some phone numbers. They will be the first batch of members. The manager readily agreed. I can make that happen. He thought to himself, Tasks like this, which are just for show, are best left to Wang Tianlong. Lin Yi took off his sunglasses and entered a room. Upon seeing him, Zhang Xiaoyu and the girl in the white dress standing beside her, who were reviewing documents, were both startled. The girl in the white dress asked, Have you seen the news online? Are you sure you're not taking off your mask today? Lin Yi smiled confidently, raised his hand to his face, and replied, I'm afraid of revealing too much of myself. A few people can't handle it. The girl in the white dress pointed behind her and asked, Have you seen the people behind me? Everyone working around them was staring at Lin Yi with scrutinizing eyes. He wondered, What are these people doing staring at me instead of working? It's one thing for the women, but why are the men looking too? The girl in the white dress covered her mouth and whispered, To be honest, everyone is speculating about your appearance right now. She crossed her arms and seriously reminded him, With the rumors spreading like this overnight, you should reveal your face in this live session. Lin Yi laughed heartily, pointed at his own face, and replied, No way. My girlfriend won't allow it. I should maintain this mystery. The girl in the white dress leaned closer to him and asked quietly, I know the CEO of Lingyun Group and Peninsula Hotel is named Lin Yi. It must be you, right? Lin Yi immediately turned his head away, raised 2 fingers and asked back, What do you think? The girl in the white dress, with an admiring expression, rested her hand on her chin, gazing at Lin Yi, continuously praising, No wonder he's capable of leading investments. It turns out to be like this. That morning, at the rival company, Li Weiqiang walked into the office and asked Guo Shibo, The brother mask incident is heating up, isn't it? He replied with a smile, As long as the viewers of short video apps surely know about this by now. Moreover, I've prepared quite a few water armies too. When the live session starts, I'll bring them in to guide public opinion. The effect will definitely be good, just rest assured. Li Weiqiang moved closer, patted Guo Shibo on the shoulder, and said, All right, with your words, I feel reassured now. The girl with green hair sitting on the sofa nearby, while doing her makeup, smugly said, My goods also have a significant advantage. Brother Mask's stuff over there isn't cheap, and besides, it's higher than normal prices. How can they compete with us? Li Weiqiang clenched his fist and exclaimed joyfully, If that's the case, I'm even more confident now. This Brother Mask, who used to be so arrogant in front of me, today I will show him the strength of capital. An hour before the live broadcast at Lin Yi's hotel, he was fully focused on his work when someone came over and gently asked, "Are you hungry? Have you eaten yet?" Turning around, he saw Ji Kyun-nian, Ding Xin, and Ren Si approaching. He exclaimed, "Wow, you all came too." Ji Kyun-nian approached closely, and Lin Yi wrapped his arm around her affectionately, saying, "It's my first time live streaming for sales. You guys definitely have to come to support." Lin Yi took her hand and replied, "You all go find a spot first. It's almost time to go live. I can't worry about you while I'm busy. We'll talk after the live stream." Ji Kyun-nian turned and walked outside, calling back, "You just focus on your work. We're just here to watch." Zhang Xiaoyu curiously asked Lin Yi, "Brother Lin, is that beautiful girl with the mask your girlfriend?" Lin Yi smiled and replied, "She doesn't show her face. How do you know she's beautiful?" Zhang Xiaoyu confidently responded, "She may not show her face, but just by her figure, I can guess. There's a 99% chance she's a hot girl." The girl in the white dress noticed they were engrossed in conversation and reminded them, "You two, stop chatting. Be serious. We're about to go live." She turned around and shouted, "All departments, pay attention everyone, everyone." Then she waved her hand and said, "Prepare. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start." The live stream began. Zhang Xiaoyu cheerfully greeted the audience. "Hello everyone. Today is our first time live streaming for sales." Lin Yi also said, "This live stream is for a charitable purpose, to support agriculture so the profits will go to the farmers." Ji Kyun-nian sat outside, proudly praising everyone. "Look at Lin Yi's performance. Isn't it very professional? Not like the hosts from those national AM stations." Ren Si wiped his sweat with a towel, reminding, "Sister, pay attention to your image. You're not flattering your own family, are you?" Ding Xin crossed her arms, speaking anxiously, "I think Lin Yi is indeed overdoing it. As soon as he reveals his identity, a whole crowd will gather to buy all of his stuff." Ji Kyun-nian responded, "He really has something different from us. If he calls other businesses to buy his goods, then the whole experience loses its meaning." In a room at the Peninsula Hotel during a live stream, Zhang Xiaoyu happily held a jar of golden peaches, saying, "Now I would like to introduce our first product. These are fresh golden peaches from Shuanghong town that we personally selected and sent directly to the processing factory. They are different from the other frozen golden peaches. I'll open a jar for everyone to see." On the chat channel of the live stream, some people commented, "I heard this streamer is very ugly. That's why they wear a mask to hide their face. Is that true? Ugly men should get lost. Holy shit. How can someone so ugly go live? Who would watch?" Lin Li was angry and shouted at the administrator, "Get this group of water army out of the live stream." The administrator turned to look at Lin Li and replied, "Mr. Li, we've kicked them out, but there are too many water army members. We can't get rid of all of them." Lin Li was furious. "These bastards must be sent here by a competing platform." He Yuan, worried, looked at Ji Kyun-nian, who was wearing a white mask, and said, "The boss hiding his face is giving the competitors a chance to exploit our weaknesses." Ji Kyun-nian, wearing a white mask, stared at his phone irritably and said, "At first I thought he just wanted to have some fun. Who would have expected him to become a top streamer? These people are so annoying. What does his appearance have to do with what he's selling?" He Yuan sighed and said, "These days, it really is about looks first, and then everything else." Tian Yan turned to Ji Kyun-nian in the white mask, and He Yuan saying, "I don't think we need to worry too much. Every time Mr. Lin operates, it's overwhelming. Such a trivial issue won't be a problem for him." Zhang Xiaoyu, holding a jar of golden peaches, looked a bit anxious as she glanced at Lin Yi, who was wearing a black mask and serious. "I'm really happy that everyone is paying so much attention to my personal issues. But in reality, those things have nothing to do with today's live stream. Just because you think I'm ugly doesn't mean you're prettier than me, but in fact, those things don't really matter that much." Lin Yi wore a black mask, took a car key out of his pocket and said, "This is my car key. The worth of this car is 100 million yuan, which is 6 million. I guess the water army like you will never be able to afford it in your lifetime. Lin Yi, wearing a black mask, turned the camera towards Ji Kyun-nian, who was wearing a white mask, and continued. This beautiful girl is my girlfriend. Therefore, everything you always dream of, I have it all. So, does my appearance really matter, whether I am good-looking or not? Ji Kyun-nian was a bit surprised. Lin Yi, wearing a black mask, looked seriously into the camera and said, So, you water army members should stop wasting your effort. Just do what you need to do. In the chat channel of the live stream, there were some comments. Brother Mask is truly amazing. You're poking at other people's pain. How can the water army fight against Brother Mask? One comment from Bully Flower stated, even if you sold the coal from your entire family, you still couldn't afford a tire of Brother Mask's car. Another comment said, Get lost, you stinky water army. Get lost, stinky water army. Get lost. Lin Li looked at Lin Yi, who was wearing a black mask, trying the golden peach product, and admired. His on-the-spot reaction skill is really impressive. Tian Yan, next to Ji Kyun-nian wearing a white mask, cheerfully said, Look, what did I say? Brother Lin is always operating without pause. Isn't this turning peril into safety this week? Ji Kyun-nian, wearing a white mask, looked worried and said, But I feel like this is just temporary. These water armies are mostly professionals. Perhaps in a little while, they will stir up a fuss about this. After all, people are also doing this for a living. As long as there's money, they'll do anything. He Yuan beside her said seriously and angrily, That's right, those people are truly a bit shameless. Lin Yi, wearing a black mask, was still trying out the products, while Zhang Xiaoyu was introducing the product. A pack of 6 jars of canned golden peaches, a pack for 29.9 yuan, which is about over 100,000. On the chat channel of the live stream, there were some comments. Is that all? Is there anything else included? This seems a bit expensive. The canned goods on the other platform are only 19.9 yuan, and they even come with a bag of dried fruit. That price isn't acceptable. Although I like Brother Mask's live stream, the price is too high to be reasonable. He Yuan turned to look at Tian Yan and said, Miss Tian, it's your turn to introduce yourself. Tian Yan, looking serious yet cheerful, replied, I feel like it shouldn't be too difficult. Tian Yan stepped up to the live stream cheerfully. I am Tian Yan, the vice president of blah blah. I'm here to give benefits to everyone. After each person successfully places an order, they will be eligible to exchange for a taxi discount voucher. I hope everyone will support Brother Mask's live stream. On the system display board, sales figures have dropped. Lin Li appeared somewhat serious, taking out other products and said, Don't focus solely on one thing. Bring out the other products here. There's no need to cling to just one product like this. Zhang Xiaoyu cheerfully took a bag and continued. In my opinion, let me introduce to everyone. This is the second product. This is rice coming from the northeast region. Zhang Xiaoyu happily ate rice. As you can see, the color of this rice is definitely different from what you buy outside at the market. A 10-kilogram bag is still priced as before at 29.9 yuan. Lin Li seriously examined the specifications and thought, the sales quantity compared to what I imagined is still significantly different. A person approached and placed the statistics on the table in front of Lin Yi, who was wearing a black mask. Lin Yi looked intently at the statistics and thought, if it continues to decline like this live stream might be over, right? At Four Seasons Hotel during the live stream, a girl with blue-green hair happily introduced the product. Mr. Li, holding a cigarette, looked at the girl with blue-green hair selling and asked, What are the sales figures like? Mr. Guo beside him smiled at Mr. Li and replied, With fresh meat joining in, our sales have greatly surpassed before. Mr. Guo cheerfully and seriously looked at Mr. Li and said, The items from Brother Mask have stopped selling. They are bound to face a disastrous failure. The products in hand will end up going bad. Mr. Li seriously lit a cigarette and replied, What we need is that effect. Tell the Water Army to continue that refrain, to make a big deal about his appearance. Hit hard on that point. Mr. Guo anxiously looked at Mr. Li and asked, "Isn't it too little to only hit on that point? His products are selling for a higher price than ours. We could also make a fuss about that." Mr. Li, with a cigarette in his mouth, said seriously, "What I really want to do is not just to disrupt his live stream this time, but to make him completely fail miserably in live streaming and selling goods. Therefore, he must also leave this social media platform forever." Mr. Li continued seriously, "In this era where faces are used to make a living, just making a fuss about his looks could completely take him down. This is one of the methods to uproot the problem at its source." Zhang Xiaoyu, with a worried tone, said, "This sales volume is somewhat different from his." Lin Li suddenly received a call. The phone chimed several times. Lin Li hesitated, feeling somewhat anxious. As soon as she picked up the phone, the person on the other end unleashed a stream of harsh reprimands. "What on earth is happening? Not only can't you sell the goods in your room, but you also let it all go to waste. What exactly do you intend to do?" Lin Li calmly replied, "Boss, this live sales session is managed by Brother Mask. Even if we can't sell anything, he will buy everything." The person on the other end still hadn't calmed down, yelling loudly before abruptly hanging up. Lin Li continued, "Even if there are no economic losses, the app's quantity will decline. You all better figure it out." Lin Li gently rubbed his tired head, feeling that the situation had become quite tense. He wondered to himself, what now? The numbers are still dropping. On the other side, Ji Kyun Nian turned to He Yuan Yuan and asked, "The girl who is live with the boss is named Zhang Xiaoyu, right? Do you have her contact information?" He Yuan Yuan replied, "I do. Let me send her a message to tell the boss to take off the mask. I can't stand this anymore. People believe anything they hear. If we don't show the real goods, they will just think he really looks bad." He Yuan Yuan quickly sent a message to Zhang Xiaoyu with the content of the request. When Zhang Xiaoyu received the message, she opened it and quickly responded to He Yuan Yuan. Understanding the situation, Zhang Xiaoyu slammed her hand on the table, stood up suddenly, and shouted, "You bunch of water army, keep talking about Brother Mask's looks today. I will show everyone the true appearance of Brother Mask." Saying is doing, Zhang Xiaoyu immediately reached out. Then she yanked off Lin Yi's black mask. As soon as they saw Lin Yi's looks, the girls couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my, Brother Mask is so handsome." Lin Li also blushed. Why wear a mask to hide such handsomeness? Zhang Xiaoyu took the opportunity to explain. "I told you guys, Brother Lin wears a mask while live streaming because his looks are too dazzling, fearing it might make you girls feel insecure." As they looked at Lin Yi on the live stream, countless viewers began to comment and interact. Account Moonlight. This is a man that makes you feel jealous just by looking at him. Account Bubai. Truly celestial beauty. Account Forget about love already. Brother Mask, do you still need fish in your fish tank? With such white skin and a handsome face. Account Nana. Buy, support Brother Mask. Ji Kyun Nian was left speechless at how quickly the crowd flipped. These people turn on a dime. A staff member reviewed the statistics and reported, "Mr. Li, the order volume is increasing, over 1,000 orders in just a minute. These female fans are something else." Lin Li felt a heavy burden lifted and became much brighter. "This is good news." A staff member rushed in, and before he even saw anyone, he already heard the voice. "Boss, this is not good." Li Weiqiang was lounging comfortably when he suddenly felt uncomfortable. "Why are you panicking?" The staff member was panting as if he were being chased by a dog. Brother Mask has revealed his face. The staff member's expression was serious. He's not just good-looking, he's extremely handsome, even more attractive than some of the fresh meat in the entertainment industry. Guo Shibo still couldn't believe it. "Is that true? Let me see." The staff member quickly handed over the tablet. "Here, take a look." Li Weiqiang and Guo Shibo were left speechless. "I can't believe Brother Mask's true beauty is at this level." Li Weiqiang immediately asked, "What are the sales numbers over there right now?" The staff member honestly replied, The sales are going crazy. Just a moment ago, I estimated that they're selling over 1,000 units per second, which is much faster than Sister Joe. Li Weiqiang plopped down onto a chair. It felt like the world around him was collapsing. We're doomed. Guo Shibo held his head, unable to believe this outcome. The staff member cautiously continued, "Boss, there's more bad news." Upon hearing the staff member's words, Li Weiqiang asked, "Our water army that was slandering Brother Mask has now turned against Sister Joe's livestream and is asking for refunds. Things aren't looking good." Li Weiqiang's face turned pale. Li Weiqiang raised his hand to support his face and said, "Why is that?" The live stream ended. Zhang Xiaoyu excitedly said goodbye to everyone. "Thank you all. Today's live session ends here." As soon as she turned off the live stream, Zhang Xiaoyu happily said to Lin Yi, "I can't believe we sold over 2 million orders in just 2 short hours, and everything is sold out. We did such a great job." Lin Yi stretched to relieve himself. "Indeed, I'm lucky. No one can bear sitting for over 3 hours." Zhang Xiaoyu pouted in a sulky tone. "Brother Lin, I also sat for over 3 hours." Lin Yi laughed and said, "Good thing. Good job, you." Zhang Xiaoyu suggested in a playful tone, "Brother Lin, our live session today was a resounding success. We should celebrate a little tonight, right?" Lin Li briefly summarized the profits made today. "Brother Lin, just now we calculated backstage. The sales volume reached 2.8 billion, with a profit of over 100,000. Suddenly, the system notification sound rang out. The system reminded him that the mission was completed. Congratulations to Lin Yi for completing the live sales mission, receiving first place in outdoor survival, and earning 200,000 proficiency points. Lin Yi grabbed Ling Wei's hand with one hand while the other wrapped around her waist. "In this situation, I can't help but be attached. It's so wonderful." Earlier, the space mentioned that this program was about wilderness survival. Indeed, where there is a need, there is a supply. The system is here with me, truly knows how to care. Lin Li noticed Lin Yi was showing unusual behavior and called out to him, "Mr. Lin!" Lin Yi snapped back to reality, scratching his head and smiling sheepishly. "Huh?" While listening, Lin Yi turned to Zhang Xiaoyu and said, "You handle the rest. As for the remaining money, you can take it." Zhang Xiaoyu felt shy upon hearing about the money. Her face flushed as she said coyly, "Brother Lin, don't be like that. The more generous you are, the more I feel passive." Lin Yi pinched Zhang Xiaoyu's cheek to wake her up. "Stop dreaming." Only then did Lin Yi turn to his wife and properly say, "You've been with me for so long here. Are you tired? Let's find a place to eat, to celebrate a bit." Ji Qunyan chuckled lightly. "If I had known it would be like this, I would have asked you to take off your mask earlier." He Yuan chimed in, "I think so too." The three of them went outside. The phone rang. Qin Han immediately asked Lin Yi, "Are you done with the live stream? Can Liang and I buy you more than 1 million marinated apricots?" Lin Yi replied cheerfully, "Ha ha, I'm done with the live stream, getting ready to find a place to eat. Where are you guys?" Qin Han answered, "Metropolis. I've booked a room. Just waiting for you to come and toast for the celebration." Hearing that, Lin Yi told Ji Qunyan, "Get ready. Let's go to Metropolis to celebrate." At Metropolis, everyone was present to celebrate. Each person's chair was so luxurious that it could probably fit 4 or 5 bottoms comfortably. The table was filled with fancy, extravagant dishes. People began to toast each other. "Come on, I'll toast you a glass." Lin Yi read a message on his phone and felt a bit worried. It was neither too early nor too late. Just right, Li Chuhan had messaged Lin Yi. "Can you come to my house for a bit?" Lin Yi immediately replied, "Okay, wait for me." Then, like many CEOs of Nation H, Lin Yi stood up and told Ji Qunyan, "I have something to take care of." Ji Qunyan felt that leaving at this moment was somewhat rude, so he stopped Lin Yi. "Is it urgent? This is your celebration party. It's not very appropriate for you to leave now." Lin Yi seriously stated, showing he was determined to leave. She normally wouldn't contact me. If she's messaging me, it must be something very important. Seeing this, Ji Kyun-nian immediately took He Yuan-yuan by the hand. Then you go ahead. He Yuan-yuan and I should also leave now. It's getting late. Ji Kyun-nian smiled brightly, bidding farewell to everyone. We have some matters to attend to, so we'll be leaving now. Sorry for making everyone feel awkward. Chin Han quickly intervened in this situation. Sister-in-law, why do you speak so politely? We're just hanging out. Work is more important. We can meet up again another time. Then everyone urged Lin Yi, you go do your work. We'll gather another day. Lin Yi took a taxi to where Li Chu-han was sitting on a street corner. Lin Yi got out of the car and asked Li Chu-han, why are you here? It's so late. Why don't you go home? Did father and your younger brother come to cause trouble again? Li Chu-han pouted, trying not to cry. No, it's not that. Li Chu-han explained, I feel like someone came to my house. Lin Yi immediately asked seriously, oh, someone broke into your house? Li Chu-han elaborated on the reason she thought this way. Nothing is missing from the house, but I feel like my things have been touched by someone. Yesterday I noticed something was off in the house. Li Chu-han said seriously, that's why this morning before going out, I marked the door. When I came home just now, I found that the mark had been tampered with. Lin Yi calmly asked, are you sure you didn't lose anything? Li Chu-han replied firmly, I didn't lose anything. Lin Yi stood up, seriously looking toward Li Chu-han's apartment, and decided to go check the situation. Let's go take a look, Lin Yi said. Night had fallen. Lin Yi assessed the outside. The door lock showed no signs of being forced. Besides you, does anyone else have a key to your house? Lin Yi asked. Li Chu-han did not hide anything. Xiaoxin has another one. She only has one herself and sometimes comes over to my house to study, so I had a key made for her. Lin Yi inserted the key into the lock and entered the room to check the situation. Lin Yi was as professional as a detective, questioning thoroughly. Do you feel that there are things in the house that have been touched? Is it something like underwear? Li Chu-han immediately refuted. No. Open the study. My study has been rummaged through the most. I feel like all the documents and files have been flipped through, but nothing is missing. Lin Yi immediately told Li Chu-han, go take me to see. Li Chu-han immediately agreed without hesitation and then closed the door. As Lin Yi entered, he went straight to the point. What things have been rummaged through here? Li Chu-han replied, a few of my theses, as well as experimental reports, and my computer. The mouse position has been moved. Upon hearing this, Lin Yi sat down at Li Chu-han's desk and opened the computer to check. Is there anything important in the computer? Li Chu-han seriously answered, there are 6 theses which pose a risk of copyright theft. Lin Yi thought for a moment and reminded, this is a small matter, just pay attention. If there are people writing theses with similar topics to yours, inform me immediately. I will help you deal with it. Li Chu-han took a cup of water and went to Lin Yi's side and said, I feel this is very strange. Even if it's a thief, they wouldn't dare to boldly break into the house. Just like that, it's only a few theses. Lin Yi, holding a cup of orange juice, said, it's indeed very strange. To sneak into your home like that is enough to know that the person is quite capable. After that, Li Chu-han sat down in a chair and asked, what are we going to do now? Lin Yi placed the glass of orange juice on the table and said, what can we do? Let's just go to sleep. He smiled at Li Chu-han and continued, if we don't sleep, the sun will be up. After that, the two kissed each other, looking very happy. Lin Yi began to kiss downwards and laughed, saying, relax, that's how we can have fun. He gradually touched Li Chu-han's body, making her happy and close her eyes. Li Chu-han looked at Lin Yi and said, not here, take me to the room. Lin Yi picked up Li Chu-han, making her laugh joyfully. The next morning, Lin Yi woke up and found Li Chu-han was nowhere to be seen. In the kitchen, the smell of food wafted through the air. Li Chu-han was happily cooking and asked, are you awake? Did I wake you? I'll keep it down. Lin Yi smiled, hugged Li Chuhan's waist, and said, "It smells so good. Just in time, I'm hungry too. By the way, is Chao Xin going to work today?" While frying eggs, Li Chuhan replied, "She worked the night shift yesterday, so she should have a day off today." Lin Yi embraced Li Chuhan, looked at her and said, "That's good. Call her later and tell her to come over." An hour later, in another room, Chao Xin walked in with a smile. Li Chuhan cheerfully asked, "Was the night shift busy last night?" Chao Xin laughed and replied, "It was okay. Worked all night. I'm so sleepy." Chao Xin walked into the dining room where a lot of food was prepared. She asked Lin Yi, "Why did you remember me today? Is something wrong?" Lin Yi replied, "Come over and eat. Director Li's cooking is just as good as her skills in the operating room." Then Lin Yi asked, "Actually, I have something to ask. Recently, have you noticed anyone following you when you go home, or any strangers entering the house?" Chao Xin was eating and said with a smile, "Wow, this sausage smells so good, and it's delicious too." Lin Yi looked at her happily and thought, even if someone is really following her, this silly girl probably wouldn't know. Lin Yi then asked, "Did you bring Li Chuhan's house key with you?" While still chewing, Chao Xin asked back, "Of course. What exactly has happened here, Sister Li?" Lin Yi explained, "I've noticed something strange in the house these past few days. It seems like someone has broken in." Chao Xin said, "Just now when I came in, I saw there was a camera downstairs. This area must have a surveillance system, right?" Lin Yi slapped her hand on the table, looking a bit casual, and said, "That's right. Let's go to the management office to check the camera." In the room, the three of them were chatting. Lin Yi asked, "Where is the management office? Let's go there and take a look." Chao Xin replied, "I'll take you there." At the management building, the receptionist looked at the three people and said, "Good morning." Lin Yi responded, "Hello, I would like to meet the manager here." The receptionist asked, "May I ask what this is regarding?" Lin Yi explained, "I want to see the camera footage." The receptionist wondered, "Camera? What happened?" Li Chuhan quickly spoke up, "I suspect someone has broken into my house. I want to check the camera to see if there are any suspicious persons." The receptionist looked at Lin Yi and Li Chuhan and said, "Please wait a moment. I will call the manager over." A little while later, the door opened and a bearded man stepped out and asked, "What's going on?" Lin Yi greeted him, "Hello, it seems that my house has been broken into. I would like to see the surveillance system." The manager frowned and asked, "Are you sure someone broke in? This is not something to be taken lightly." Lin Yi calmly replied, "I am just suspicious, which is why I want to see the surveillance camera to confirm." The man appeared displeased, picked up a walkie-talkie, looked at Lin Yi, and said, "If you really want to request this, it would be best for you to report it to the police station. After that, they will send someone over here, and only then can I allow you to see the camera." Chao Xin sighed and complained, "It's so annoying. We just want to take a look." She continued to explain, "We are doctors at Huashan Hospital, and we are all nice people. There must be a reason we want to see the surveillance footage. How could we do anything bad?" The manager sighed and replied, "I have no choice. This is our working regulation." Lin Yi chuckled lightly and said, "They also have to work by the rules. We have no right to criticize them." The manager looked down at his hands. Lin Yi followed his gaze and then friendly patted him on the shoulder, smiling and saying, "Brother, what's this?" He discreetly handed the manager an envelope and said, "We just want you to help us with a little something. Can you make an exception for us?" Soon after, the door to a room opened. The manager led the three of them into a room full of computers. He looked around and then said, "According to the rules, I shouldn't do this, but since the people in the building need it, we should agree to help." He turned to ask, "Which floor is it on?" Li Chuhan pointed, "Building 14, third floor." The manager shook his head in worry, then pointed at the screen. "The camera on the 14th floor has been broken. It seems to have malfunctioned 4 days ago." Lin Yi thought carefully, feeling that this matter was not simple. He thought, if there were no issues, how could it be such a coincidence? The manager smiled, returned the envelope, and said, I really can't help you all. You can keep this. Lin Yi spoke gently. No need. It's not worth much anyway. He smiled, extending his hand to stand next to Li Chuhan, continuing, My friend lives in this area, so if anything happens in the future, just assist him. At Li Chuhan's house, Lin Yi said, Although I came here empty-handed, at least it proves that your thoughts are correct. Xiaoxin joked, pretending to be innocent. Lin, what exactly happened? After all, I've been pretending to be naive for many years, and my deductive skills aren't bad. Lin Yi explained while eating fruit. Starting from the day before yesterday, someone sneaked into Director Li's house but didn't take any valuable items. The only thing that was touched were the research documents and the computer. Xiaoxin laughed and asked further, So, did they target Sister Li's research results? Lin Yi nodded and replied, That's a possibility, but the strange thing is that the door and windows were all closed tightly, with no signs of a break-in. In other words, the person who entered must have had a key to unlock the door. He frowned, looking at Xiaoxin, asking, Do you understand what I mean? Xiaoxin was taken aback and quickly protested. Hey Lin, you're not suspecting me, are you? It's not me, really, it's not me. Lin Yi calmly answered, If I suspected you, I wouldn't be telling you these things now. Xiaoxin turned to ask Li Chuhan, Director Li, the key has always been with you, right? You're sure you never left it behind, are you? Li Chuhan affirmed, Of course, my bag always contains my phone and keys. I'm sure I haven't lost anything. Suddenly, she unexpectedly widened her eyes, as if recalling something. Lin Yi noticed her strange expression and asked, Why did you stop talking? Did you remember something? Li Chuhan nodded and replied, It was the day I went shopping and tried on a dress. At that time, a few beautiful girls came over and surrounded me, chatting with me for more than 10 minutes. My bag was still in the fitting room, and when I returned, the bag was still there. Since there was nothing important in the bag, I didn't pay much attention. She recalled the moment she took her belongings from her handbag, feeling a bit worried. Xiaoxin quickly interjected, I have a feeling that something happened then. Someone must have copied Li's key. Chuhan was surprised and asked, How can a key be copied so easily? Lin Yi laughed and explained, You don't know this? Actually, all you need is a piece of material like clay. One can press both sides of the key into it. Then, by applying pressure, you can copy the shape of the key. Afterwards, you just need to have a duplicate made. Xiaoxin pushed up her glasses, thought for a moment, and said, The director of the cardiology department is famous nationwide, yet their house was broken into, but nothing was stolen. Is this ultimately a problem of distorted character or moral decay? Lin Yi lightly kicked Xiaoxin's chair, causing her to scream, Aya! Brother Lin, why did you kick me? Lin Yi smiled and gently said, Stop reading lines haphazardly. Quickly state your conclusion. Xiaoxin sighed and replied, The conclusion is that I feel the person is targeting Director Li. She was just caught up in it. Just then, the phone rang, and Gong Fu answered. He said, Director Lin reports that there's a problem here. It seems someone has hacked into our computer system. Hearing this, Lin Yi was startled and asked, The computer has been hacked. Everyone wait for me at the research office. I will go over immediately. Xiaoxin looked at Lin Yi with curiosity. Brother Lin, was your computer hacked? Lin Yi took off his shoes and replied, Not mine. He turned back, his face a bit displeased, and said, But it's her computer that was hacked. Xiaoxin thought for a moment and then spoke. Brother Lin, I'm sure that mysterious person is targeting you now. Director Li is just an innocent bystander. Lin Yi was preparing to leave, but before going, he turned back and said, You stay here. During this time, the two of you shouldn't go home. I will book a room for both of you at the Peninsula Hotel. Stay there for a while. He smiled lightly and then added, Sorry for the trouble, but you two should be careful. Xiaoxin and Li Chuhan smiled and said, It's okay, we understand, dear Lin. At the Longxin research office, Sun Fuyu smiled upon seeing Lin Yi arrive. Director Lin, you're here. Lin Yi looked at Sun Fuyu's computer and said, "Show me the confidential data." Sun Fuyu sat down at the computer, replying, "Sure, take a look, it's all here." He pointed at the screen and continued, "This code is very strange. I've tried to copy it several times, but it resembles a document scanning code. However, our firewall has blocked it, so nothing happened." Lin Yi smiled and gave a thumbs up. "You've handled it well. This period is quite special, so pay a bit more attention to matters related to this. Now I will go over to Shen Tian first to see what the situation is." In Shen Tian's laboratory, Lin Yi opened the door and stepped in, feeling a bit frustrated. "Shen, please help me check if the security system of the research office has been breached." Shen Tianzhuo, who was looking at his computer, looked up and said, "It seems everything is fine." Lin Yi frowned and asked again, "Everything is fine? Are you sure?" Shen Tianzhuo nodded and replied, "I've checked thoroughly. It's definitely fine." Lin Yi sighed in relief. "If everything is fine, that's good." Shen Tianzhuo brought some water over and asked, "Why are you in such a hurry? What exactly has happened? Who in the country would dare to do such things to you? There probably aren't many, right?" Lin Yi held a glass of water and said, "I'm not really sure, but anyway, I've already attracted some attention. Recently, with issues related to safety, I hope you can help me keep an eye out. If anything happens, all our efforts will go to waste." Shen Tianzhuo smiled and replied, "I understand this. You can rest assured. I won't make any promises about other matters, but these small things are not a problem." Lin Yi nodded. "Then I'll take my leave now, Mr. Shen. If you need money, just let me know." He laughed heartily. "For now, there's enough. Just focus on your work." Shen Tianzhuo asked further, "By the way, if the other party comes well prepared, has your company checked your place?" Lin Yi contemplated and answered, "That makes sense. I'll go back and check." At Kyushu residence, Lin Yi turned on his computer. He stared at the screen and muttered, "Sure enough, the computer is also infected with a virus, just like at the research facility." He pressed the delete button and activated the protection program. Then he leaned back in his chair, crossed his legs, and pondered. All this must definitely be orchestrated by the V Family Financial Group. Meanwhile, at the Sangila Hotel, Wachala asked, "How is the investigation going? Have you found anything?" The bald man replied, "Nothing at all. Lin Yi is very tight-lipped and there's no one around him. We haven't been able to gather any information." The bald man said, "We have infiltrated their computer system twice, but both times we failed. Their security system is very solid and their level is high. Even professional hackers are at a loss." Wachala held a glass of red wine, pondering. "They are researching chips, which is not closely related to national research fields. But Lin Yi's computer, there might be something important in there." The bald man nodded. "Someone is preparing to go to Kyushu residence to take a look, bringing some things back from there." Wachala took a sip of wine, warning, "Yes, be careful. Also, you should pay attention to a person named Li Chu-han. I feel that Lin Yi's research results may involve her." The bald man responded with a yes, and then asked, "Mr. Va, there is another person named Liang Ruo Shu. This person has a very close relationship with Lin Yi. Should we investigate her?" Wachala paused, his eyes flashing with caution. "Liang Ruo Shu?" He put the wineglass down. "Do not touch her. This woman is not simple. Although her mother has stepped back, she can still inflict heavy damage on our family. Therefore, at any time, we must not lay a finger on her. It is too dangerous." A bald man said, "Yes, understood." At Kyushu residence, Villa number 9, Lin Yi softly jumped down from the roof, his movements extremely skillful. He slowly walked into the massive, luxurious villa. The door gradually opened and Lin Yi sat down on a chair, deep in thought. He reflected, "I've always been at Villa number 1, rarely going to other places, so they probably won't be on guard." On the 5th day, Lin Yi was sitting in front of the computer. He focused intently on the screen and saw someone sneak in through the window. Voices echoed from the study of Villa Number 1. Lin Yi smirked and murmured, "You've waited here for several days already, and finally, you get to see me. I hope this time you can get the job done." The intruder was still sitting in front of the computer, while another person stood by the window, looking at his watch and saying, "5 minutes left, hurry up!" A masked man typed rapidly on the keyboard. "It will be done in 3 minutes. Suddenly, he stared wide-eyed at the screen and shouted, "Let's go quickly!" The man by the window immediately left through the window. Just then, a foot kicked hard into the face of a security guard, causing him to grimace and fall incapacitated. Another accomplice glanced at him, his face suddenly filled with worry. There is a man standing in front of 2 henchmen. Lin Yi coldly asks, "You're here now, do you still want to run away?" One masked man replies, his voice provocative, "How did you find us here?" Lin Yi smirks and replies, "From the moment you opened my computer, your identities were exposed. But I have to admit, you guys are not bad, managing to sneak into my house without anyone noticing." One of them pulls out a pre-prepared knife, and both of them wield their knives. One says, his tone calm, "Since we've been discovered, let's be clear. We will leave now, and I hope you won't do anything too extreme. I assure you we won't come back." Lin Yi snorts, his gaze icy. "Do you still want to resist?" Saying this, he quickly grabs the hand of one man holding the knife and kicks him hard in the stomach. The other man, caught off guard, is knocked down by a punch to the face from Lin Yi. Lin Yi looks down at both of them and asks in a deep voice, "Who sent you here? What have you found out about me and my friend?" The one lying on the ground is gasping for breath, trying to respond, "I can't say. Even if you call the police to arrest us, it would be useless." Lin Yi coldly laughs and says, "Just by looking at you, I can tell you've got nothing useful." Then he bends down and reaches for a blade. Lin Yi smiled, holding a sharp blade, and asked, "Have you ever seen the legendary scene of dismemberment?" The 2 bodyguards were terrified, trembling, sweat pouring down their faces. They said in unison, You are a devil." Lin Yi laughed and continued, "According to the customs of Nation H, you should call me the Grim Reaper. So, you two should think carefully. I will start the countdown now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One of the bodyguards, Jun, pleaded, "No, please don't. I will speak. I will tell everything. We were sent by Wachala. His goal is to find your research materials. But we did not harm anyone around you. You must know this." Lin Yi ran his fingers over the blade and said, "Wachala's status in the Va family is probably not as high as Vardana's, right? So the mastermind behind this is Vardana, isn't it?" The man replied, "No, it's not what you think. The relationship between Vardana and Wachala is such that they are unaware of this. Wachala acted on his own." Lin Yi smiled and asked, "Where is Wachala now?" He scratched his head and said, "I'm not sure about this either. The person who assigned the task to us is Security Officer Zhong Jian. We only communicated over the phone, so I don't know where he is." Lin Yi pointed the knife at his face and said, "So what are we waiting for? Hurry up and call him. I want to meet Wachala. Don't waste my time." He was terrified and said, Yes, I'll call right away." Then he picked something up, fearfully showed it, and said, "In 30 minutes, we will meet at Awasui Dock." After that, Lin Yi kicked him in the back of the neck, and the man who was hit fell with his eyes blank. After handling those 2, Lin Yi said, "Someone will handle you guys later." At Iwasui Dock, the bald man asked, "Did you find out their whereabouts?" Lin Yi replied, "I knew early on. For days I was waiting for them to take the bait." He said, "The 2 guys you sent to my house have been taken care of by me. I'm here to pick you up now." The bald man asked, "Do you want to take action?" Lin Yi crossed his arms and said, "As long as you tell me where Wachala is, I will let you go." The bald man said, "Zongjian, I'm not someone who fears death. Your threats mean nothing to me." Then he charged forward and said, "This place is remote. We should only allow one person to leave here alive. The bald man stood in front of Lin Yi and said, "If you hand over all the research results, I can let you go." Then he threw a kick to Lin Yi's face, but Lin Yi dodged it. He used his hand to block the kick from the bald man. The bald man frowned and said, "Interesting. You're stronger than I expected." He got angry and threw a punch, saying, "No wonder you were able to take down my 2 assistants. I really underestimated you." Lin Yi dodged the bald man's punch and charged forward. He slapped him, causing his glasses to fly off. The bald man cried out in pain, "Ayah!" Blood suddenly gushed from the bald man's mouth, and then he fell to the ground. After spitting blood, he said, "Do whatever you want. I'm not afraid of death." Lin Yi scratched his ear, looked at the bald man and said, "I know this is all Wachalla's doing too." Lin Yi laughed and said, "If I were to tell Vadana about this, she would take care of it." The bald man, still bleeding from his mouth, looked surprised and said, "You?" Then Lin Yi grabbed his hand and twisted it painfully. Lin Yi smiled and said, "Although I've got you under control now, this isn't over yet. I have to play with you for a while. Let's see how long you can endure." The bald man said, "Could it be that you can't even bother to talk about a bit of moral obligation? You scoundrel!" Lin Yi asked, "Surely you have family, right? Just give Vadana a little nudge and guess how long they can hold out." The bald man replied, "You have no shame, do you? Don't bring my family into this. I only need to tell you, right?" Lin Yi responded, "Wachalla is at the Sangila Hotel, room 2404. Suddenly, a phone rang. The caller was Chao Xin. Chao Xin asked, "Lin, has Director Lee come to see you?" Lin Yi questioned back, "Is something happening? Aren't you two at the hotel?" Chao Xin explained, "Moments ago, she received a phone call. Her expression suddenly changed, and she said she was stepping out for a moment. After that, I couldn't reach her anymore." Lin Yi said, "Don't rush. I will look for her." Then he kicked the bald man and asked, "Did you guys take Li Chuhan?" The bald man could only scream, "Ah!" He asked, "Huh? Before I got here, she was taken to the hotel by someone." After that, Lin Yi ran to the Shangri-La Hotel. Li Chuhan and Wachalla were sitting in a room. Wachalla smiled and said, "Director Lee, please drink some tea. This is our specialty tea, very rare in Nation H." Li Chuhan sat with her arms crossed and said, "I'm not interested in tea. I just want to know why you are here in my house. I hope you will give me a reasonable explanation." The tea was poured, and Wachalla continued, "Because you are a colleague of Lin Yi, I have my eye on a research outcome of his. Surely you know a bit about it. I hope Director Lee can cooperate with us." Li Chuhan replied, "All of Lin Yi's research on pharmaceuticals was conducted solely by him. I had no part in it. You've got the wrong person." Wachalla laughed and said, "Director Lee has misunderstood. What we want is not the pharmaceutical research, but rather related to the biological purification technology. I hope Director Lee can cooperate with us." Li Chuhan asked in surprise, "Biological purification technology?" She stood up and said, "I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. You've got the wrong person." Li Chuhan got up, but was pressed back down by the 2 bodyguards. She asked, "You don't want me to leave, do you?" Wachalla said, "It's still too early. Director Lee can take your time to think. There's food and drink here. I will give you enough time." One person had arrived at the place, causing the 2 bodyguards to turn their faces in surprise. Lin Yi angrily looked at them. Wachalla, with an angry expression, said, "Lin Yi." Lin Yi replied, "Don't worry, I'll take you home later." Wachalla, looking somewhat displeased, continued, "Stop that woman!" Wachalla, with a slightly angry face, said, "I told you that's enough, right?" Lin Yi said, "With my abilities in Nation H, you can see." He kicked the chair, and it flew into Wachalla's face, causing him to fall backward. Wachalla angrily said, "I'm just too lazy to deal with you, not afraid of you." Lin Yi still rushed forward as if intending to fight. One bodyguard got kicked by Lin Yi, grimacing in pain, fell to the side, exclaiming, "Ouch!" Both burly bodyguards charged forward. One was holding a stick, another had a bruised face from the kick, and yet another got kicked in the stomach by Lin Yi. Li Chuhan came out and saw numerous bodyguards beaten and lying on the ground. Wachala looked somewhat panicked, with a hint of fear, and said, "I'm serious with you. I merely want your research materials. I have no intention of harming the people around you." Lin Yi fixed a sharp gaze on him. After that, Wachala knelt down. He said, "I admit this. I bet my life that I will never participate in such matters again. I hope you can forgive me." Lin Yi asked, "Forgive you?" Then he kicked Wachala. He said, "Mr. Lin, please calm down a little." Wachala, kicked to the ground, said, "We basically didn't want to capture her. It was just a coincidence that we ran into her." Then Lin Yi stepped on Wachala's foot. He teared up, crying out in pain, "Oh, ah." Lin Yi said, "I don't have time to listen to your rambling here." Lin Yi lifted his foot to stomp again, but someone came over and said, "Stop!" Vadana approached with 2 bodyguards, saying, "Mr. Lin, this matter is due to my negligence." Wachala reached out towards her and said, "Sister, you're here. Quickly save me." Vadana said, "Mr. Lin, I hope you can give me face. Give my brother a chance." Lin Yi replied, "All right, since you have spoken up, I will give you face." Lin Yi continued, "No matter what, you have invested in us. The 3 billion performance should still be reserved for you." Then he stepped on Wachala's foot again, causing him to scream out in pain. Vadana said, "Lin, what are you?" Lin Yi replied, "What I mean is, wait until I finish venting my anger before you save face. It's fine now, my anger has subsided. The rest, you can handle yourself. After all, this kiddo has messed up my big plans." Lin Yi looked at Li Chuhan and smiled. "Chuhan, let's go." She said, "Yes." A bodyguard asked, "Young lady, are you just going to let him go like that?" Vadana asked, "Then what? Who among you can stop him?" Wachala looked at Vadana and said, "Sister, you must avenge me." Vadana, her face pale and a bit frightened, said, "Haven't I told you already? Don't get involved in this anymore." Wachala replied, "I just want to quickly complete the mission to help you." Vadana stroked his chin and said, "Truly a good little brother. After so many years, you still care for me." Wachala smiled and said, "As a younger brother, of course, I should care for you. It's only right." Vadana smiled and said, "Don't rush. I have a way to help you no longer feel pain. If there's a next life, remember what I said." Then, Vadana pointed a gun at Wachala's forehead, surprising him and causing him to tear up. Vadana left, saying, "Be careful when handling it. Clean up the bloodstains." The bodyguard replied, "Yes." Wachala had been shot right in the forehead. In the luxurious room, a pool of red blood is being cleaned up by 2 workers. Wachala has been shot directly in the head by his sister, and his corpse is being carried away by 2 others for convenient disposal. Under the command of a man in a black suit, likely close to the person who killed him, the scene unfolds. About an hour later, the man in the black suit reports to a woman preparing to light her cigarette. "Young lady, it's been taken care of, leaving no traces behind." There are no expressions of pain or sorrow. The woman, Vadana, shows a hint of calculation and calmness as she orders the other. "Tomorrow, help me send an invitation. Inform that my brother, Wachala, has unfortunately passed away. Invite him to attend the funeral." The man coldly plots alongside Vadana. "Young lady, if we inform the family, we can pin the blame on Lin Yi. We might be able to exploit this a bit." Upon hearing this, Vadana turns around with the cigarette in her hand. Her beautiful eyes close and her brows furrow tightly, making her appear slightly annoyed. She then says to the man, "If the family finds out, it's highly likely they will turn against Lin Yi." Immediately after, her expression softens. The calmness interlaced with a touch of indifference, accompanied by her calculations, creates a unique allure for this woman. She said, "But my plan is not yet complete, and my younger brother has no benefit to the family at all. Therefore, I do not care about his life or death." It turns out that her brother's death, in Vardhana's eyes, was not something too significant because he was just a useless person to the family. Meanwhile, in a modern building named Peninsula Hotel, inside a room, Chu Han and Lin Yi, a man and a woman, were in an ambiguous posture, pressing against each other by the wooden door. Chu Han wrapped her arms around Lin Yi's neck, and he also embraced the girl in front of him, looking at her with deep affection and comforting her. "Don't be afraid. I'm here." Then, they both fell onto the soft bed, still maintaining that ambiguous position. The girl's cheeks were slightly flushed, perhaps because she felt shy. Their eyes were closed, as if they wanted to optimize their sense of touch to enjoy the passionate kiss about to come. Lin Yi gently reassured Chu Han, apologizing to her for what happened earlier, saying, "It's my fault I came late. I didn't want you to have to think too much and suffer because of it." That night, clothes were scattered on the cold ground, but for the two of them, the warmth in every touch acted as a catalyst, helping them reach the peak of their emotional highs. The next morning, perhaps because he was too tired, Chu Han slept very soundly. Meanwhile, Lin Yi got dressed, preparing to go somewhere. He turned back to the bed, leaned down close to her ear, and whispered, "You've been tired these past few days. Sleep a little longer." Then he turned and left, but still couldn't help stealing a glance back at the girl lying on the bed. Lin Yi went down to the hotel dining room to find food to fill his belly. While enjoying his meal, suddenly a young man, dressed neatly, approached Lin Yi's table and politely greeted him. "Mr. Lin, what a coincidence." The young man continued, "I have completed the arrangements you asked for. Over the past few days, we've contacted 20 high-end clubs in Nation TH. They are all very happy to cooperate with us. Looking at you, it seems you are quite satisfied with the speed at which the work was completed." Lin Yi responded joyfully, "So fast. Please have a seat." The young man sat down, also very enthusiastic in conversation and expressing his honor to work with him. "The tasks that Mr. Lin entrusted to me, I will make sure to complete them as soon as possible." The joy on Lin Yi's face was unmistakable. He leisurely picked up some food and advised the other person, "Make sure to expand the scale. The most important thing is the influence." Right after that, the ring of a phone interrupted the conversation. It was a call from a seemingly young woman. Lin Yi recognized that she had shoulder-length hair, and it seemed she wanted to share some good news. She told him, "The Wild Survival Show is now open for registration. There is a contract and a commitment letter that you need to sign in person. If you have time, you can come to my place." Lin Yi immediately wiped the smile off his face, replacing it with a serious demeanor regarding work. He glanced at his watch and replied, "All right, I'll head over now. I should be there in about half an hour." After that, Lin Yi arrived at the television station where the girl who had just called worked. It was a tall building with modern architecture, the facades all covered in glass, symbolizing development in the area. Upon arrival, Lin Yi casually slipped his hands into his pockets and observed the bustling crowd in front of him. He was astonished. He never expected this show would attract so many participants. A beautiful girl just stepped outside. She was the one who had called Lin Yi. Even though she was dressed in ordinary office attire, her confidence and stunning figure made many people admire her when they saw such a beauty. An older man with long hair looking somewhat handsome was holding a stack of papers and leaning over. He excitedly said to the person next to him, "Brother Chen, the rumor is true. The director of this program is indeed a beauty." Chen Dongji, the principal of the Nation TH training school, standing next to him, agreed with this view. "She is indeed beautiful. I'll try to flirt a little later during registration. Maybe I can win her over." Outside, Ren Si was smiling while greeting Lin Yi. "You're here." The older man saw Ren Si chatting happily with Lin Yi and instantly showed an annoyed expression. "Principal Chen Dong, not good." The man walked over to the female director. The principal also showed displeasure upon seeing her being familiar with someone else. It seems their relationship is quite close. Regardless of the scrutinizing gazes, the two of them continued to talk with each other. Ren-ci proposed to Lin Yi. "Let's go. I'll take you to the main hall." Lin Yi politely replied, "Thank you." The female director of the survival show led him into a room. Inside, there were many people in charge of different segments, waiting for everyone to register. Zhang Xu, the person in charge of the program, looked a bit surprised and spoke up. "Ren-ci, who is this person?" Ren-ci happily explained, "This is Lin Yi. His skills are quite good. I specially invited him here." Lin Yi also smiled friendly and greeted Zhang Xu. But perhaps he does not agree with Ren-ci's approach, as he believes Lin Yi's physique does not seem quite suitable. However, the young woman remained unwavering and kept her resolve. "This matter can wait. I have made my decision," she said. She continued, "You handle the situation here. I will go get the contract." Despite the person in charge still being stunned and displeased by her decision to select a character without considering Lin Yi's appearance, Ren-ci led him to the registration area and handed him a stack of papers. Lin Yi focused intently on reading them, while Ren-ci urged him to complete the signing. "Come on, I'll take you to sign. I'll remind you of some things to keep in mind as well," she said. But unfortunately, things may not go as she wished, as Chen Dongji had appeared from behind out of nowhere. He said, "Wait a minute." To the surprise of both Ren-ci and Lin Yi. As Lin Yi was standing there discussing the contract with Ren-ci, Chen Dongji approached them. Seeing this, Ren-ci immediately asked, "Is there something wrong with this player?" Dongji seemed extremely angry, gritting his teeth as he replied, "The participant for this event can only sign a contract if they have passed the assessment." After saying that, he pointed at Lin Yi angrily. "The assessment hasn't even started yet, so how can he have the contract already?" She heard that and reached out her hand towards Lin Yi to explain. "This is the special guest for this event, and he is on our participant list. I am exempt from the screening and can directly sign the contract." Chen Dongji, hearing Ren-ci's explanation, was still not satisfied. He pointed at himself, unwilling to give in, and voiced, "If there are such regulations, then why am I not on the list of qualified invitees?" Ren-ci, upon hearing this, was extremely angry. She pointed at him and shouted, "The reason you didn't receive an invitation is definitely due to your lack of ability. Are you still going to stand there and ask?" Her words left Chen Dongji with a face full of black stripes, looking utterly miserable. Unsatisfied, he straightened up like a stranded crab. "I want to know what the criteria for being invited are." Ren-ci responded, "You simply do not have the physical qualities." She had calmed down more than before and added further explanation. "Therefore, those we invited have had their qualifications verified before we sent out any invitation letters." Upon hearing her words, Chen Dongji looked as if he had just heard a joke. He pointed at Lin Yi, who was standing next to her. "I can't accept that, director. Just look at his physique. Does he look like someone who can pass a physical test? A wilderness survival show does not require good looks and those who lack ability." At that moment, a pair of feet appeared, drawing the attention of all three people. Following that, a voice rang out to stop the argument. All right, everyone, quiet down a bit." That voice belonged to Zhang Xu. He walked over, raised an eyebrow, and proposed a solution. "We can test whether we have the strength or not." Ren-ci felt displeased upon seeing Zhang Xu appear, thinking to herself, "Why is Zhang Xu butting in?" Just then, a muscular guy stepped forward, cracked his knuckles, and said, "You've said that, so I also want to give it a shot." Seeing him act this way, the people around seemed encouraged. A blonde guy spoke up. "He is also qualified to be invited. If I defeat him, do I also get exempted from the test?" Another guy chimed in, "I want to try too." Ren-ci watched this with dark stripes appearing all over her head. She looked on without wanting to say anything. Then she suddenly agreed. "Fine, as long as you're better than him, you can have the qualification." She raised a finger, glancing at Lin Yi, who was standing firmly to the side and hadn't spoken. Then she proclaimed, "As long as you're better than him, you can have the qualification." As soon as she finished her words, a foot immediately launched forward. It turned out to be a bald man lunging at Lin Yi like he was pouncing on prey. He confidently laughed, "Then I'll go first." Unexpectedly, Lin Yi swiftly dodged his attack. After that, he rewarded the guy with a slap, causing him to spit out the water in his mouth. Lin Yi sneered, "You fool." The onlookers were buzzing as they saw the big bald guy crash to the floor. "How did this happen? Isn't the one who fell that fresh meat guy?" One person, very startled by the scene, said to Chen Dongzhe, "Brother Dong, this young lady might have had some training." He stared at the scene as if struck by lightning, angrily grinding his teeth. "Oh no, he seems to be unyielding." In response to the previous person, he said, "It's just that he hit the pressure point. Otherwise, how could this happen?" Over here, another overly confident guy stepped up. "This time, it's my turn." But perhaps he was too excited. Lin Yi didn't even need to lift a finger. He simply dodged to the side, leaving the guy no chance to react. Ren Si, observing the situation from behind, closed her eyes in frustration. Why do these people keep making things difficult for themselves? Zhang Shu, seeing the situation like this, was drenched in sweat. He spoke up to remind, "The selected players of our team indeed have skills. If you don't have the capability, then don't rush in anymore." At this moment, Ren Si stepped forward and said, "Let's go. Don't waste any more time here." Lin Yi, standing behind, smiled and nodded in agreement when she said that. After finishing her words, the two of them walked past Zhang Shu. Right in front of Zhang Shu, Lin Yi stopped, smiled at him, and asked as if she were not asking, "Do you want to give it a try, to see if I have what it takes?" Hearing this, Zhang Shu's face darkened, and he hurriedly shook his head and waved his hands, responding with a smile, "No, no need." Seeing him like that, Lin Yi no longer joked, moving to stand alongside Ren Si. "Let's go." After that, the two of them entered the room.